In the realm of cybersecurity, memory injection and buffer overflow attacks are critical concerns. They manipulate the regular operations of computer programs, introducing unauthorized actions or causing disruptions, making systems vulnerable to further exploitation. Understanding these concepts is crucial for anyone looking to grasp the fundamentals of computer security and safeguard systems effectively. When it comes to memory injection, imagine your computer's memory is like a giant busy kitchen inside of a restaurant where all the computer's tasks are being cooked up and prepared. Memory injection is like if someone sneakily comes in and adds unwanted ingredients into the pots on the stove when no one is looking. These added ingredients can change the flavor of the dish, making it do things it wasn't supposed to. In computer terms, memory injection is when unauthorized code, the extra ingredients, get placed into a program's running memory, causing it to act in unexpected and potentially harmful ways, without the computer's chef, the user, or the operating system knowing about it. Now let's talk about buffer overflows. They're similar memory-based attacks that also focus on code running in memory to create a vulnerable opportunity for exploiting the end system. Imagine you're pouring water into a glass. If you pour too much, the glass will overflow and water will spill everywhere. Now, let's say that spilled water can damage items on the table. In simple terms, computing, a buffer is like a glass. A data is like the water. If an app receives too much data that it can't handle, it's gonna overflow. This excessive data can then spill onto other parts of the program and cause problems in memory, possibly being exploited by attackers. So when it comes to memory injection and buffer overflow, we're talking about memory attacks. Next, let's talk about processor attacks. A race condition is a problem that occurs when multiple program instructions are happening at the same time, and the order in which they happen can change the result. It's like a race between two or more processes to access and change the same shared memory space. Picture two people trying to be the first to get to a door and to unlock it in order to enter a room. If they both reach the door at the same time, there might be confusion. One might think the door is locked, while at the same instant, the other person unlocks it. A race condition is going to be when an app's behavior gets unpredictable because multiple operations are trying to happen at the same time, and the winner can affect the outcome. Now let's talk about time of check and time of use. Imagine you check online to see if a book is at the library that you want to check out. That's going to be your time of check. Maybe you want to go ahead and check out Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. You decide that you want to borrow it. That's going to be the target of evaluation. So you decide, how are you going to go ahead and do this? Well, you log on, you pull up the website, you reserve the book, it says that it's there, and you go ahead and you say, all right, I'm going to reserve it. But by the time you go to the library to get it, the time of use, someone else has taken it out. Somehow, between the time that you reserved the book to the time that you got to the library, someone else checked it out. When it comes to file system race conditions, it's a situation where something you checked and decided you wanted to use changes before you actually get to it. Hackers might exploit this gap between checking and using to trick systems. A program checks if a user has permission to write to a file first. If the user has permission, the program then proceeds to write to the file. An attacker can swap that original file with a symbolic link or a reference to a different protected file after the permission check, but before the write operation. This can lead to unauthorized write access to a file that the program and therefore the user should not have access to. The well-known Windows meltdown attack is a great example of a race condition-oriented exploit. It allows an attacker to bypass the barrier between user application and the operating system, enabling them to access the memory and thus all sensitive data of the programs running in the computer, like passwords and personal information. With the ability of bypassing set permissions, race condition-oriented attacks can also result in privilege escalation. A system may check if a user is in a list of approved users before giving them elevated privileges. If an attacker can modify the list between the time of check and the time the privileges are assigned, it's going to be time of use, they might grant themselves unauthorized elevated access. Time of check and time of use vulnerabilities exploit the gap between the time a system checks a condition and the time it acts on that checked condition. It's like pulling the rug out from someone after they've checked it's under their feet, but before they step on it. These are important vulnerabilities to understand, as they can lead to unexpected system behaviors, unauthorized access, or data breaches.